For me, once I've had good pigeons, I've always been very careful to keep them. I'm very careful in crossing. You have to cross, but I inbreed, and then cross for the hybrid vigor, which you have to. But then I cross straight back in, if it's successful, the crosses, they can cross back into the originals. I would never cross two birds and then put the crosses together, because you're putting mongrels together and you breed mongrels. The genetics can go all ways, and you can soon lose, within 2-3 generations, you lose completely what you had. And when it's good, I think the art of staying good is keeping the good pigeons. And there's a lot of people that are good at racing pigeons, but very, very few good at breeding pigeons, putting a family together and keeping them. I look around now, and I would say 90% people are winning, so it's got to be right. It's crossing, good pigeons here, crossing there. But quite a few do that. They stay for 1-2 years while they've got the good pigeons, and then they fade away. To stay there, you have to breed, look after it, always look for something really good to come in, and if it's no good, after you try it out, if it's good, then you bring it back into the base. And I have found the best pigeons, I always thought through inbreeding that the hybrid vigor would be the first cross, and the best pigeons should be in the first cross. But that hasn't proven the case with me. I found good pigeons in the first cross, but I found the best pigeons when I crossed back in again, which is 25% the cross and 75% mine. And I found more good pigeons that way than I have with the first cross. So with the first cross, if I'm happy, I'll always try back in. I won't, if they're equal, I used to say, well, they're equal, I just will keep my base now. But that is wrong. If they're equal, cross back in, and normally then you can find something very good.
That's usually because you know your own family to start with.
Yes.
You have more confidence in them.
No way would I put two cross pigeons together, because you can breed excellent pigeons, but 99 out of 100 would be rubbish.
All right then, Catherine, obviously Geoff's mentioned some of the performances with your own family which you've created for quite, late 70s, I do believe. Is there anything you would like to mention?
We breed for performance, and we just continually look, evaluate through the winter. We spend as many hours going back through the birds' performances, seeing which birds have done well, which ones have done even better. And, we spend many hours doing this, analysing our birds, and then thinking of pairings coming up for the start of the new year, start of the new season. It's not a time of year when you can switch off. In fact, most of the preparation and the thought that you put into the close season, you reap dividends in the racing season.
Go on, Geoff.
We breed for speed and stamina. Today, stamina on its own is not good enough. You need speed. To win any top race now, it has to be speed. 800 metres per minute is not good enough. 500-600 miles, they're racing. So we need a sprinter that can fly 600 miles. You've got to put speed in. You have to be careful putting speed in. I cross now and then speed in. We tried one a couple of years ago, and this year from I cannot remember which race it was, but we had pigeons dropping after 12-13 hours. And then one pigeon dropped and hit the roof, and I said to Catherine, what on earth's that? I've never seen a pigeon look so tired for a long, long time. And that was the first cross with a speed pigeon. The pigeon had flown about 13 hours. Well, 13 hours may sound a long time to a lot of people, but my pigeons after 13 hours look like they've been around the loft for an hour. This pigeon looked tired. Took him about 2 minutes to get to the trap. And I haven't seen a pigeon like that for years and years. So obviously that never worked. But it's no good to get slower pigeons. If you've got pigeons that fly all day and half the next day, it's no good trying to get something that's slower. You've got to put speed. You've got to get them faster.
When you say speed, Geoff, would you say long distance pigeons into sprint pigeons, or would you say long distance pigeons of the same velocity? What can fly at that same velocity at that extreme speed?
I would try something that flies 400 miles very fast and cross into the ones that can do 500 and 600 miles, which mine can.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work. I'm always looking, but a pigeon that can fly 400 miles really fast, and even on hard days, be at the front. If it's tailwind, they've got to be at the front, and if it's a hard day, they've got to be at the front. And not all work. I try something every year. I have a very inbred family, and every year I try 1 or 2 crosses. And this has been over many, many years. And there's about 3 pigeons have stayed.
Right.
But when you find, if you can find a good 400 miler and cross into yours, and they will do the distance, they're gold mines, because you go back into yours, but it puts the speed into yours. You cannot stand still. I have the same family of birds that I was winning with 20 odd years ago, but if I was racing the same system now as I was then, I wouldn't be winning, because people get better, feeding gets better, education gets better, things move on, and you can't stand still. You've got to move on all the time.
If you ever get to that point when you think you know it all and you don't have to learn anything anymore,
There's one way to go, downwards.
you're only going to go downhill, because learning is a lifetime process, and it's a two-way process.
Yeah. And you always,
and as
always
it is
learning.
with Mark and Geoff, it's a two-way process. They bounce things off each other. Geoff and I, we bounce things off each other. Though we're a partnership, we don't always agree, and we can both be quite stubborn, and we usually take it to the nth degree, and one of us, but once we've seen the light, then, you know...
No, once you've seen the light.
But we're fine with it. But you have always got to have that quest of looking for more, you know.
Just arriving at your lofts on your back garden. What wonderful lofts. I mean, it looks a very good view as well, Geoff.
The loft is facing east to west, south. The loft is facing south. The loft is east to west. So it's facing due south. So the birds come straight up.
So these lofts, obviously they're like houses, to be quite honest with you. I mean, it looks a brick building, and we'll be going in shortly to see. Can you basically state what your ventilation is from the outside of the lofts, and how big your lofts are in total, and what it consists of?
The loft is 85 feet long.
Yep.
It's built of 5-inch insulation block.
Yep.
The floor is wooden. Underneath that there's 2 inches of Celotex insulation. The ceiling, when you get inside, you'll notice, is solid. Right. Above that,
yep,
there's 8 inches of insulation. The windows and doors are double glazed.
Yep.
So it's all to keep the temperature constant.
Right. How deep would your lofts be then, Geoff? Even though the 84, 85 foot long from like front to back?
Inside, 8 feet.
8 feet deep in total, yeah?
Yeah, 8 feet deep. The only ventilation on the whole length, except for the window open for the aviary for the stock birds, is through here, 1 inch over that 2'6" length.
Right.
That's the only, on the 4 traps, that's the only air going in.
You've got, are the actual Sputniks, or are they, you know,
well,
are they
for
like
the
a Sputnik?
ETS, yeah, like a Sputnik for the ETS.
No, that's your pad for your ETS, yeah?
Yes, under here, yes.
And you've got 4 of these in total,
Yeah,
of
yes.
a space of your 85 foot in length.
Every section inside has a chimney.
Right.
And the chimneys go up under the ridge, 4 inches under the ridge, and the ridge is stuck on with silicone.
Right.
So the air can go out and percolate. There's no felt on the roof, can percolate through the ridge and out through the tiles. So this draws in, and because the loft is insulated, it's always normally warmer than outside anyway, the air drops and then percolates out through the chimneys. This might seem very small, but because of the chimneys, you think of a flue on a fireplace, it always draws.
It'll draw
so
better.
It always pulls the air in. If I put the chimneys out through the roof, when we have high pressure, you would get a downdraft like you do on a normal chimney, and that would mess the ventilation up completely. That's why the chimneys go out under the ridge.
That's a very, very clever idea what you're telling me. It's very different to any other loft what I've been to up to today, if you know what I mean. It's totally different, but obviously it's a very clever idea, and that might be a lot of your secret to your little things coming into big things to get in the edge as well as good pigeons for the big international races?
It works. When I lived at Highlighton, my loft over there was the same principle.
Right.
There was a guy over there, Slocum, he used to race, and he had the loft wasn't very good. And I went down and we altered his loft around, and he did this ventilation. He won the Paul Grand National from that loft. Harding Brothers in this village, he built a new widowed loft, and he done the same loft construction ventilation wise as this. He won the Grand National. I went and put Mark Gilbert's lofts up when he moved the last time. Not the lofts he got now, but the lofts he had previously. I altered the ceiling, I put chimneys in, altered the ventilation going in as this is. He won the Grand National, and this one's won the Grand National.
So obviously experience is obviously doing the results for not just yourself, other fanciers in the UK.
Yes.
That's fantastic. Anything you believe in the stock loft, a strong iris into a weak iris, or, you know, on your breeding success, what you've done to breed these international level, what would you recommend?
About 1980, I started studying eyesight, really went into it. I did drawings, photographs of all the pigeons. I had about 7 cardboard boxes of material. After 2 years, I thought I had it sussed. After 7 years, I thought, what a waste of time, what a waste of paper and everything else. I do like to see a good bright eye, see the health of a pigeon in an eye. A nice coloured eye always looks nice, but Mark's international winner, he's got a slightly wishy-washy eye, and he's an excellent breeder. I take no notice. People say you should put opposite eyes together. Well, if you want to breed something specific, you don't put opposite together, you put like together, and that will breed like. So I cannot see anything in that theory, but I just put best to best.
If they're two exceptional races, you'll not be feared what eye goes together, as long as they're good performance
The
pins.
eye has no bearing on what's putting together. I put best to best. People say, what do you look for if you were buying a pigeon? What do you look for in that pigeon? The first thing I look at the pedigree. People say the pedigree can't fly, that's true. But if in the genetics, if the parents and the grandparents and the great-grandparents aren't very, very good, aren't winners, and there's any weak links, I don't want to even look at the pigeon. And when the pedigree suits, then I look at the pigeon. And as long as the pigeon's healthy, I'll take the pigeon, regardless of size, shape, whatever. Because if it's out of top winning pigeons after generation, it is the right shape, the right size. It may be different to mine, but I'll put them with mine. And I don't know what it is in this family, but normally the children come out, not like the import, but like mine. I would say 9 times out of 10. And then they cross back into mine, if they're good, and they come out 100% like mine.
I know.
You might get the odd throwback like the others, but it's very, very odd. But all I want is performance, 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 speed, speed, and strength, endurance to keep flying.
And I know you're a big believer for the stock loft for inbreeding, aren't you? What would you actually call inbreeding? Would you know, your best lines to inbreed, to outcross, would it be father, daughter, brother, sister? What have you done at your best, you know?
Well, at the moment, the farm boy, which is the father of the international winner, is paired to his daughter, which is a full sister to the international winner. Those children will go straight back in the stock loft,
Right.
but those will be crossed.
Yep.
And then if the crossings work, they would go back into the family again. The line in the family, the original De Weerts, I had a daughter of Philip. I think the best performance Philip was 4th National Cahors. He was a very good pigeon. He won multi-top national prizes. He was the grandfather of Emile, the first international Bordeaux winner. And I bought 3 children of Emile, but they're all great-grandchildren of Philip. And I see the traits of Philip in all of them, and I think Philip, way back, was the base of all these pigeons, because all the pigeons go back to that one cock.
Right.
Everything. So wherever I go, what I put with what, I'm still inbreeding back to that original cock. There's a couple of lines, but they all go back to that one cock. There's very little cross. There's about three. The Elsacker pigeon came in, which was the most unlikely cross of the lot. The out-and-out sprinter that worked. There's a son of legend, Brian Shepherd's first international winner, Dax. That's in, that stays. There's about 4 pigeons have stayed of all the crosses I brought in, and I bring in crosses every year. I'm trying at the moment. I've got a son of Etienne Marilyn Starlight, which was a hell of a pigeon. I'm trying that. I've got 2 sons of Brocamp's Euro Diamond, and I'm trying those. One of those cocks, I'm very pleased with the crosses, and I think I'm had long enough. I think that will end up staying. But I bring in top pigeons, but very little stays. What I find best is when I go back to Mark and have part of my own family back. Or if De Weert gets a top pigeon, he hasn't got what I call a real top pigeon at the moment. When he's got a real top pigeon, I go and have a couple from that, cross back in. That seems to give hybrid vigour, and it keeps the family line the same, and that works. It is very difficult when you've got pigeons as good as those in there. You're looking for something better to improve them. But where do you go? It's very hard. So you go to the best in Europe and try, but quite often they're different sizes, different shapes. But quite often that doesn't matter, because after going back into mine for the second generation, they're similar to mine, and you've got the hybrid vigour also.
That's very good, that, Geoff.